I'll see you in hell.
Hey folks, Darren here, Mr. Sandsman. Welcome back to the channel. Halloween Resurrection. Halloween Resurrection is a movie that I have probably seen the least in the franchise. Probably up there with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I've really not revisited this movie too much. I saw it in the cinema in the UK on release, and I think there was quite a delay between the US release and the UK release on this. Quite some time, actually. When we finally got it, I knew that it wasn't a good movie. Word was already out. The performance at the box office in the US was poor. It opened at number 4 at the box office, behind Men in Black 2, Road to Perdition, and Reign of Fire, way back in July of 2002. Opening weekend was 12.3 million, so, 23 years ago, that's not too bad for an opening weekend for a horror film in a franchise that had been going on for a good kind of 25 years at that point, pretty much. Total domestic gross ended up being 30.4 million and 37.6 million worldwide. So it wasn't really a hit, considering the production budget was around about 13 million. It kind of put the franchise on a bit of a hiatus for a good sort of 5 or 6 years. And it's not helped by the fact that you can clearly see that Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't want any part of this whatsoever. She was contractually obliged to come back. And so we had this awkward situation, whereas they had to kind of recalibrate the final moments of Halloween H2O in order to make this movie work. And so we get this showdown with Laurie and Michael that's really rather pathetic at the start of the film. And Laurie Strode ends up dying, and then we continue this movie in a sort of reality TV game show that never really works at all right from the get-go. In fact, I don't know anybody that thinks that this movie is in any way a respectable release within the Halloween franchise. But as always, given that it's a Halloween film, you kind of have to have it in that collection of yours. And I started way back in around about 2002, 2003. I can't remember the exact date when this came out, but I do remember importing it from Canada. And that's the DVD of this movie, Halloween Resurrection. I don't even remember if I watched this. I can't remember watching it because I just thought it was that bad. But I must have spent a fair few quid importing it from Canada to be able to see it. In fact, I might have even seen it on DVD before I actually saw it in the cinema over in the UK. That might have been the case. I can't think of any other reason why I would have imported this. Anyway, quotes on the front there. Terrifying ABC TV, one hell of a fun movie from Fox TV, and some quotes on the back as well. Smart and scary, surprising and fun. It's certainly surprising, I'll give it that. But yeah, one of those god-awful late 90s, 2000 posters with all the character heads on there. And Laurie Strode with short hair there, but she doesn't even have short hair in the film. Bizarre. Anyway, this has quite a number of extras on it. It's not a bad DVD for when it came out. As you can see there's a feature commentary with director Rick Rosenthal and editor Robert A. Ferretti, deleted and alternate scenes with director commentary, webcam special with director commentary, photo gallery, tour of the set with production designer Troy Hansen, on the set with Jamie Lee Curtis, headcam featurette, storyboard comparisons, and Spanish subtitles. It has a 5.1 Dolby Digital track, and it's 235:1. Yeah, like I said, I'd have to cast my mind back. I can't quite remember whether I bought this before I saw it in the cinema or whether I bought it after. But I've hung on to it. I'll show you inside. You can see there that it is actually the French-Canadian one. Look, you've got Halloween La Resurrection there. And then your chapter stops on there as well. I don't think there's any sort of... No, there isn't. You just get it in French and in English. There's no booklet or anything like that. I think Buena Vista gave up at this point. In fact, it's not even Buena Vista. It's Alliance Atlantis who released this in the US. So I'm guessing Dimension moved their distribution to Alliance Atlantis after the after Halloween H2O. Then about 12 years later in 2014, we got the Blu-ray version, which was part of the Halloween 15-disc box set that I always talk about on this channel. Better artwork on this. I mean, still the same faces, the same kind of late 90s, early 2000s faces we've got on there, but they've removed all those quotes that basically lie about the movie. There is the back, and on the back there you can see the I think that was the promotional shot when Michael Myers was first cast, that they released online, which we're seeing there. That was the first look at Michael Myers. In terms of extras on there, we have an audio commentary with director Rick Rosenthal and editor Robert Ferrati, alternate endings, deleted scenes, featurette headcam, storyboard analysis. I think it's all pretty much the same stuff that we had on that DVD release that came out 12 years before. So nothing much in addition on this at all. Halloween Resurrection's one of those films, again, like H2O, that I tracked from its inception on the Halloween Movies website. And you know, again, it's always exciting to hear about the latest production breaks and everything. And knowing that Jamie Lee Curtis was coming back, I kind of had a sneaking suspicion that she wasn't going to be in it for long. But I was kind of excited about Rick Rosenthal coming back as a director. Hadn't been around since Halloween 2. Halloween 2 is one of my favorite movies in the franchise. And I think when we saw this film, it really gave us an insight into how much input John Carpenter had on Halloween 2. I think that movie has more of a Carpenter stamp than he's given credit for. And we know all the details about how Carpenter went off and kind of tidied the film up. They took it off Rick Rosenthal while Carpenter added in extra gore and scenes of tension and things like that, and sort of made it his own in the end. It was a nice nod to bring Rick Rosenthal back, but I think in terms of the script, he didn't really have much to work with. And we also got one of the franchise most annoying characters in this film as well. However, as I always say, it is part of the franchise, and it is nice to have these things as a complete set. And so when Scream Factory released the box set with Halloween H2O and Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers, you have no option but to get this thrown in with it as well. And I think that had they released these on their own, they probably wouldn't have done that well. I think releasing the 3 films, and 3 of the weakest films in the franchise, as a box set probably did better for them, because, you know, if you want one, you've got to have the others. So there we go. There's the newly commissioned artwork for the 4K Halloween Resurrection Collector's Edition. Not that keen on that artwork, if I'm honest. Not that keen on the mask in this film either. Really heavy on the eyebrows. You can see the heavy eye makeup that Brad Lorre's wearing a lot of the time in this movie, and that's kind of off-putting. As I said before, I prefer Michael's eyes to be blanked out. Unless you're Dick Warlock and you can just see the eyes rather than what's the surrounding skin. But yeah, something didn't sit right with me with the mask in this film. And the situations they put Michael in this movie are a lot of the time nonsensical. And as a horror film and an 8th entry into a Halloween franchise that at this point is really starting to lose credibility, it's pretty poor. And they needed to do something after this movie to shake things up and breathe new life into the franchise. But we'll stay with this, the 4K Halloween Resurrection Collector's Edition. You have the reverse artwork with that image on there. There's the back. Okay. And they actually added in quite a few new things on this. So you get all of the 2014 extras, plus the following interviews, which is Troy Hansen, the production designer, Donna Keegan, the stunt coordinator, and Jamie Lee Curtis's stunt double, Gary J. Tunnicliffe, makeup effects coordinator, Gary Clayton, the youngest shape actor, Sean Patrick Thomas, Butcher and the Blade, Steph Hutchinson, Tales from the Script. And then the commentary from of Rosenthal and Ferretti, which is the same as the Blu-ray, the deleted scenes, the webcam special, vintage interviews, headcam, storyboard analysis, all the same stuff that you get on the 2014 disc. So if you're into this movie, and you know, I know there are fans of it out there, and that's absolutely cool. If you were brought up on this Halloween film, or if you just like it as an entry in the franchise, that's really cool. I don't have a problem with that, but for me, it doesn't do a great deal. And as I said earlier, it's one of the entries in the franchise that I revisit the least. In fact, the only time I've actually revisited this film is when I've been doing videos for either of the two YouTube channels that I'm part of. Tech specs on this disc are it's Dolby Vision and HDR10, and then there's a DTS master audio track on here as well. I'll just give you a quick look inside so you can see the discs. The Blu-ray on the left and the 4K on the right there. There you go. Halloween Resurrection, folks. I think if it wasn't part of that box set, I still would have bought it maybe, because there would have been a gap on the shelf down there, which would have annoyed me. But as I said, I'll not be getting too much use out of this particular 4K. That's it, folks. That's the first 8 Halloween films out of the way. Rob Zombie's 2 masterpieces are next. Actually, I don't mind the first one. I have problems with it, but I don't mind it. We'll talk about that next time. But also, I'll be having a look at Creepshow and Return of the Living Dead and the different bits and bats of physical media I have with those 2 films. 2 of my favorite horror films of all time, those 2 movies. So I'm really looking forward to sharing those with you soon. But I'll be back with the more Halloween stuff. I'm really looking forward to tackling the David Gordon Green franchise as well, because I'm kind of a fan of those films in different ways. So it'll be interesting to have a chat about them and see what you guys think of them as well, because they do certainly divide people. So yeah, I'm going to look forward to that. Thanks again, guys, for all the support with the channel. It really does mean the world to me that people are clicking and liking and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, then please consider it. And if you could afford a like on this video, that'd be really helpful as well. That'd really help the channel. And I'll be back very soon. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I shall see you later. Bye-bye.